Hello learners, and welcome to U.S. History Reconstruction to Present, week 22. So we are currently on. And this week we're going to complete units 7.8, 9, 10, 11, 14, and 15. Learning targets: I can explain the key events of the civil rights movement of the 1960s and compare and contrast the civil rights issues of the 60s to those of modern society. Okay, so imagine you are living in a big house with other people. Everyone has their own room. Everyone shares the kitchen. There's a problem. While others get nice large rooms with air conditioning, your room is small and dingy and unventilated. Others get to use restrooms in the house and you have to go outside. And lately your roommates have even forbidden you from using the kitchen. So you have to go hungry. The feelings of frustration and hurt that you probably feel with regards to your roommates are not unlike the feelings that many African Americans felt after the Civil War in America. So after the Civil War, many states instituted Jim Crow laws, which made segregation by race the law. As a result, many buses, restaurants, hotels, and public establishments offered service only to white people, or they offered better service to whites than to blacks. African Americans felt frustrated and hurt by the way that they were being shut out of places like movie theaters, restaurants, public swimming pools, parks, and African Americans worked to change the laws. And that's where the civil rights movement comes in. But you can understand that feeling of it not being fair. I even remember growing up, like if somebody in my family maybe got a bigger piece of pumpkin pie or something, I would get mad because I was like, well, that's not fair. And that was such something that was so tiny, so not worth fighting about. And so you can imagine the feeling of never having anything close to what whites would have if you were an African American. Okay, so we're going to go into the course and read the Civil Rights Movement, and you're also going to look at the Civil Rights Movement timeline from history.com. And as you read, you're going to want to think about the key events of the Civil Rights Movement. And this is a topic, I mean, we could spend weeks, we could spend an entire year on the Civil Rights Movement. There's so many resources and movies and readings. When I taught civics back in the brick and mortar school, we would spend a good bit of time on this because it was so monumental, and everything that happens with the government and the laws, and we would just look at different things and watch video clips. So just kind of go through and look at the timeline. Like I said, we can't spend a year on this, but you can go through and kind of learn a little bit on your own. So watch the video History of the Civil Rights Movement. You can also get onto BrainPop and watch the video of the civil rights. Remember, username CPDLF and the password is student. And if you want to dig deeper into the civil rights movement, you can watch The Murder of Emmett Till. I'm going to warn you, it is graphic. It is a documentary. I would show it with a permission slip at Tussey when I taught at Tussey Mountain because it was just so monumental. It's one of the things that sparked the civil rights movement was the murder of this boy. Okay, like I said, it's about 50 minutes long. It's very emotional, but it's very, very good. So just make sure, you ask a parent or something, just say, I'm going to watch The Murder of Emmett Till. I just wanted to let you know. It's on YouTube, and I'm sure you guys have seen far worse, but this just kind of is gut-wrenching when you see what actually happened. When you see him in the casket, there's some very shocking footage, and even my students, 9th, 10th graders, were very shocked at what another human could do to another human. Okay, and then you're going to complete the Civil Rights Movement Quizlet. And then after examining key events of the Civil Rights Movement, please examine some of the powerful images on the right and tell me how these images represent what was happening during the time period. Okay, so after you looked at some of the resources, after you watched some of the videos, just kind of look at what was happening. You can even do some more research if you want to find more about this, but obviously Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. At the bottom, at the top, you can see African Americans sitting at the counter, 3 at the top, an African American girl, what appears to be books, and many white people behind her, and even soldiers. Okay, so kind of keep that in mind as you go through. You can also check your understanding of the Civil Rights Movement by taking this Quizlet. And then your little elaborate for today is, after examining the key events of the Civil Rights Movement of the 60s, compare and contrast the civil rights issues of the 60s to those of modern society. And some people say, well, I think it's pretty fair today. I don't see a lot of issues. And some of you may say there's many, many issues out there. that people are still fighting for. And you can even do a little research and type up, modern day civil rights issues and kind of think a little bit about that in terms of today compared to the 60s of what you learned about. There's a rubric there as well. And then just tell me, have your ideas changed about the civil rights movement compared to what they used to be? And like I said, this is a huge topic. We could spend years probably on this topic. You could find so many good movies. Remember the Titans was another one that I would love to show right around Thanksgiving and after Thanksgiving sometimes, because my students at Tussey Mountain would go hunting and I'd be missing quite a few of them. And so we would show Remember the Titans and show the struggle with equality. And there's the Freedom Riders with the busing. Like I said, there's so many great videos out there. So if you have some free time, you can definitely explore. This is a really interesting topic. Okay, so you guys have a wonderful week. And if you need anything, please reach out. Thanks. Bye.